And happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope everyone's been having a good New Year week. I know school has started back down here, and I've noticed when taking the dog out in the morning, the school buses are going by. And of course, the dog wants to run back in, scared of that big yellow bus. But like I said, it's midweek here, New Year's. I mean, it just started, so nobody put any dampers on it yet. Come on now.
Well, let me ask you, what kind of dog do you have?
She is a white, she's half German Shepherd, she's half Australian Shepherd, or part Australian Shepherd, a little bit of Chow in her. She's a mixed breed, but she shows more of the German Shepherd.
Yeah, so she's a little bit bigger because we used to have big dogs, my husband and I, but now we have small dogs. They're like 10 to 15 pounds. And what I've noticed since we moved from warmer California to cold, rainy, icy, snowy Oregon, the Pacific Northwest, is they require potty partners to go outside when it's cold or wet. It's like if I have to go out there, you have to go out there.
You're going to make me suffer in this. You're going to suffer too.
Right? Yeah. So we've been here for a little over 2 years, and I keep thinking they'll grow out of it, but I don't think they're gonna.
Probably not. When they get into that habit, they get into that habit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But just so everybody knows, Melinda Curtis, a USA Today best-selling author, I think more into the romance drama.
Yeah, I write women's fiction, which is more like the emotional journey that men and women go through, because there's still a romance in there, but it's really emotional. And then I write more lighthearted romance with no bedroom, and then romantic comedy, which is more fast-paced, less humor.
Very nice. What got you started into writing? What was your inspiration?
I was always an avid reader. My mom, growing up, was an avid reader as well. And it's people who have to be read piles, right? TBR piles. You can relate to the fact that sometimes in your TBR pile, you have clunkers, right? And I had a whole series of clunkers. And then I read a really great book. And, I thought, I saw the way to contact the author. And she happened to live 45 minutes from me. And so I reached out and contacted her and said, I can do better than these people. Like, how can I become an author? Right? How can I do it? And, to be fair, sometimes I may have picked books because I'm a cover slut. And if it's a great cover, I will pick it up no matter what the genre is. Right. And I love suspense and thrillers and cozy mysteries and everything. But sometimes the cover is greater than the book, or I'm not the right reader for that book. So it wasn't that these authors were bad. They just weren't writing what I wanted to read.
And basically, you wanted to get your story out, and it's what a lot of people say that. Put out the story that you want to read.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you had one of your books made into a movie, if I recall?
I did. Yeah, it's called, hang on, I'll reach back. So it was this book called Dandelion Wishes, which has a woman on the cover. It's women's fiction. She's blowing a dandelion. And it was made into a TV movie called Love in Harmony Valley. And, now it's available on DVD and streaming. But I had nothing to do with it. Harlequin had published that book, and they contacted them and said they wanted a winery book. And I used to work at a winery. So I have written some winery books, right? Write what you know in the setting that you know. I am not a wine geek, but I know a lot about wine and growing grapes for wine.
And is that around the Napa Valley area, or?
Yeah, I set it in Sonoma County because I wanted it to be a small town, so northern Sonoma County.
I used to live in Marin County, just north of there.
Oh, Marin is awesome. Yeah.
So I know the area quite well.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing that I did notice is you both an indie publisher and traditional publisher.
Yep.
There's got to be so many differences and aspects that you could give insight on to maybe help others.
Well, the indie side of it, if you're just interested in writing a book and publishing it yourself and not having an editor or publishing house put their kind of stamp on your work, then that's a good avenue to go. But if you want it to make money, you have to view it like a business, right? And you have to build
Mhm.
your audience, you have to market to your audience, and you have to choose covers, change covers, maybe change. You can, as an indie, you have the freedom to go back and change a book if something's not working. You can do that all yourself. I have friends who only publish with traditional publishers or small press. And what they love about it is they write the book and then all the business side goes to someone else. But the flip side of that is, you can't say to them, hey, can you put my book on sale because it's Christmas time and it's part of this line that I'm writing for you. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're only promoting new things this year. Or we're promoting, authors who write alien romance. Who knows? So there's several considerations. It's from when I started writing, it's unfathomable to me how in depth I've kind of got into the business
Mhm.
of self-publishing and having my own little publishing house, and also writing for traditional publishers. It's actually kind of a nice change to write for a traditional publisher and then get back into my writing business.
I was just thinking an alien romance. Would that be sci-fi?
Might be sci-fi, most likely. Well, a few years ago it was erotica, right? Alien erotica. Now there's monster romance, which I
Hmm.
find intriguing. I'm like, oh, it's it's different than vampire romance, right? And werewolf and shapeshifter romance. There's so many things. People are so creative, and I just really love and admire that. Whether it's a book or a TV show or a movie. Like, oh, how did somebody take all those ideas and come up with that? That's great.
I do like the differences in ideas, and it's just such a variety. It's like, unfortunately, TV and movies, in my opinion, have just kept doing repeats and repeats, or redoing a movie. But when you have indie authors and authors getting a story out, it's actually new stories. It's not a repeat of a story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the I will say I do recognize when they do new things. I will try to look at new things, but
Mhm.
like we have Disney Plus, right? And they have the Willow series. I
Mhm.
remember the Willow movie when it first came out and how kitschy it was. And, we went to see it because we liked fantasy and we liked Ron Howard, who had directed it.
Mhm.
And, it was created by George Lucas, I think. But then the series is kind of fallen flat a little bit for me. Um, and we've given the National Treasure on Disney Plus a try too. But one thing I do enjoy, and I noticed in your intro, is I have a little 4-year-old granddaughter who loves Spidey Gwen. So yeah, whoever is doing the Spider-Man show for kids, right? Peter is a kid like 12 or 14, and he's got two friends, a friend of color and Gwen, who's a girl, and they all have their different Spidey powers, which it opens up the universe to a new audience,
Mhm.
an audience of girls. Like she has her Spidey Gwen, track outfit with her hood. She can put her hood up and she can put a little mask on, and it's great. I think it's great to expand the universe. So as long as people are being creative and not doing the same thing over and over again.
Yes. I mean, I can understand doing like a sequels, but I think for me it was more like redoing the same movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And and that's just hard. It's like, I mean, they're talking about doing it with a few others, and it's like I'd rather see something different or add to it, not make it a sequel or make it
Right.
a
Yeah. Are
third
you
or
talking
fourth.
about
Don't
the
redoing it.
are you talking about the Marvel universe and about how we're going to get a new Superman and we're going to, it's
The DC,
that
yeah.
does get really tiring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the great thing about the whole Marvel universe, that has gone over whatever it is, the last 15 years, 10 or 15 years, is that they did have characters grow and change and age rather
Mm-hmm.
than just rebooting them. Although I do read that they are going to reboot some of them now. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing this to us?
I think one of the things that I read is they're actually bringing Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman back for one of the movies or series that they're going to be putting on.
Wow. Well,
And
they do that whole time shift, reality shift, which to me is confusing.
it very well can be. It very
Mhm.
well can be. I know people are going to get upset at me and probably send me hate mail, but I actually stopped watching the Marvel after the in Avengers Endgame. The
Well,
big,
that was just wrenching. It was
Mhm.
just gut wrenching, It was like I come for the action and maybe the plots, but the way they developed it totally made sense to me, and I totally appreciated it and enjoyed it. But by the same token, I've only watched it again one time. Like I haven't the other Avenger movies, like the first Iron Man, I've watched several times over and over again.
Mhm.
I don't want to watch the Black Widow movie over and over again because, spoiler, hello, she died in Endgame, right? So
Yeah,
it's like all these characters that I really cared about and was invested in left. And yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
it is. Well, for the new year, are you going to be writing more stories, more books? Do you plan on having some come out soon?
I have actually a really busy year this year. Last year, my time lag, I plan out 18 months in advance of what I'm going to write. 18 years. That would be a long time. I
Wow.
wish I could plan 18 years, but I do tend to, because I have contracts with traditional publishers. And so those are anywhere from 8 to 15 months in advance that I have to write something or turn something in. So I have that laid out, and then I have the indie series that I'm writing, and then I got about 15 books back, the rights back from traditional publishers. So I'm relaunching those this year, one a month. So I need to go back. I've re-edited two of them so far, and I'm doing a book a month. So that's going to be a little bit weary
You
after a
got
while.
you definitely have a busy schedule ahead.
Yeah, normally I write about 500,000 words. So that's usually about 4 to 5 full length books and novellas and short stories and things like that that I'm, bouncing around. I'm
Uh,
busy.
I'm having a heart attack over here.
You know what? I don't think it's healthy. I'm going to say right now, do not, like, I've been published now for 20 years.
Mm.
And I'm not a household name. And I just, I keep chugging along doing my thing.
Well, that means you enjoy it though, and that's one of the main things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really do. I really, the reason that I love those Marvel movies so much is because they're, they're at the core, they're character driven, right? Like,
Hmm.
what did Tony Stark have to go through to first become Iron Man, and then to
Hmm.
say, there's too much collateral damage. We need to be more wary of this power, when he, was basically a warmonger, right? A drunken, womanizing
Hmm.
warmonger. So the fact that he changed, grew and changed, I love that. I love that in characters.
Definitely. So we talked a little bit about it. Do you do any book signings or
Mm-hmm.
anything? Do you go to conventions or is it coffee
Yeah.
shops or? bookstores?
I don't do smaller events. I tend not to do smaller events locally just because it's so hard to get people there. And
Mhm.
it's a lot of my energy to, show up there, have all my stuff, do whatever, be entertaining for a little bit, and then move on. And so I tend to go to like Book Lovers Con, which is primarily romance, but they have other genres as well. Readers and authors get together. So Book Lovers is, primarily Texas, Florida-ish seems to be where they do things. Readers and authors get together is in Cincinnati. I'm going to do, what am I doing? What am I doing? I know I'm doing like 2 other events. There's a Utah Readers Luncheon that I enjoy going to. And what's the one in the Black Hills? It's really a big one.
Oh, it's not Black Hills Comic Con, is it?
No, it's a multi-genre event in Deadwood, the Deadwood, readers event. And so there are several different things that you can do when you go to the event. You can tour Deadwood. They have guided tours of Deadwood or the nearby Black Hills, the monuments, things like that. And then they have, this, I think it's like a 6-hour signing, right? So I'm going to need lots of coffee and lots of energy because there'll be hundreds of people. And it's at a casino too. So my husband is super excited because I've never done that event before. And it just, for him, he's like, so I have an excuse to go gamble while you are trying to pay for my gambling.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there before. Now, I think it's funny because I'm actually going to be going to Black Hills Comic Con in June. So
Is it
I
in
shall
Deadwood?
be up there. And it's all I know is Black Hills. They call it Black Hills Comic Con. Exact location I don't have yet. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm looking forward to that convention.
Oh yeah, it could be right around that same time because I think it's the second or third weekend in June.
I think I'm going to be there the last weekend, the 20. I can't think of the dates off the top of my head, but it's the last weekend of June.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be like back to back.
That's right.
But I've always wanted to go see the monument out there.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of the monuments out there before because my husband has family in South Dakota. So, and we're drivers. I don't know if you're drivers, but we
I'm
like
a
to
driver.
drive. Yeah. Yeah. We enjoy taking off and driving. You have to like the person you're in the car with.
Hmm.
And you have to also like to stop at the same places.
Hmm. For sure.
Yeah. Because otherwise it just doesn't go. It just doesn't go well.
So where can people find you at?
I have a website, melindacurtis.com, Curtis with a C. And on it, you'll see a welcome page like, hey, where do I start? And it just goes into, if you're looking for rom-coms, if you're looking for women's fiction, here's this or that or another thing. I'm also on the regular places for social media, usually as Melinda Curtis author. Instagram, whatever. I have been trying TikTok, but I'm not going to dance. And therefore it's a little bit sketchy as to how successful that may or not be in terms of my time. But I do like people doing their dances or having their animals do funny things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I do want to thank you for being on the show. It was great having you. And just so
Yeah.
you know, and I'll put this on here so she can hear it too. That was Amy actually dressed up as Spider Gwen.
Oh.
So I just wanted to let you know that was her. So now you can give her a hard time about it.
I don't want to give her a hard time. Actually,
Oh,
I
come on.
want that picture to show my granddaughter because she will want the mask that she was wearing. It was pretty awesome.
Mm.
You know?
Well, definitely get with Amy on that one.
Okay.
But again, want to thank you for being on, and everybody who's coming in late or just watching the show later. Thank you for joining. And until the next show, which is actually going to be tomorrow night, the Con Hour with Marcus Malden, we will see you